Hello from Joplin, Missouri and Ozark Christian College. Today on YouTube, it's day 2 of the 2019 ACCA Men's Basketball Tournament. It's quarterfinal day for the men's bracket as we take a look at everything. We start with the 3-6 matchup. It's the 3-seed Kansas Christian Falcons coming in at 20-6, taking on the 6-seed champion Christian Tigers coming in at 10-11. Hi again, everybody. Chris Shima, glad to be with you for day number 2. 6 games on tap for you, starting with this one. Let's meet the starting lineups for both of these teams. First for head coach Jesse Bird and champion Christian from Hot Springs, Arkansas. Starting today is number 11, Stephon Tellis. Number 20, Trayvon Reed. Number 22, Vernon Burns. Number 23, Terrence Davis. And number 35, DeMarcio DeVoyle. Starting today for Kansas Christian, 20-6, and head coach John Jansen in his second season. Number 1, Antonio Daniels. Number 10, Darwin James. Number 11, Ja'Cory Washington. Number 13, Stephone Jackson. And number 23, Joshua Plain. For the second straight year, these two teams meet in the quarterfinals. Kansas Christian defeated champion last year in a quarterfinal game in the 2018 tournament. So these two teams probably spent a lot of the day yesterday going over that tape and rewatching that one. A lot of familiar faces. Of course, champion lost its top scorer, but they have a balanced attack with 3 players averaging in double figures. And for Kansas Christian, they are the top scoring team in the ACCA, one of the top scoring teams at any level in the country, averaging 91.3 points per ball game. They're second best as a team in the ACCA in shooting at 48%. It's Kansas in the white, champion in the royal blue, as we're just about set to get underway here. Day number 2, 6 games on tap, and game number 1 here in the quarterfinals is underway. A little bit later on today, at 4 o'clock, it's Barclay and College of Divinity as champion gets on the board with a quick 3. That's the 1-8 matchup. Also, later on, Arlington and Ozark. Carolina has already booked their ticket to the semifinals, defeating Rhema last night. Good start for champion, getting the turnover after the 3. DeVoyle had it stripped, though, so Tigers give it right back. Look how fast the Falcons are, trying to lay it up. Jackson a little bit too strong on it. But you see the kind of speed that the Falcons are playing with. Hang on to your wigs and keys. They're going to blow by you. Tellis top of the key. Here is Burns. Mid-range shot, got it to go, and champion. Apparently the early birds liking the early start, out to a 5-0 lead. James into the forecourt. Darwin James, 4.1 assists per game. That's tied for third best. 58 steals for him, too. Second best in the ACCA. Plain misses the 3. Reed on the run out. He'll back it out. Dared to shoot the 3, left alone, and he makes them pay. Trayvon Reed, 28% from downtown, gets that one to go. 8-0 champion. Antonio Daniels, top of the key. Had his pocket picked. Great defense. It was Reed first, and then Davis. Davis to the bucket. No, cleaning it up as Burns. Can't get it, but he's fouled. Champions started the season strong. They were 5-1 at the beginning of December. Lone loss in the stretch was to Division I Grambling State. Not Grambling, I think it's just Grambling. 99-58. Had a good showing. That's not a bad score going up against the D1 school for champion. This is a team that's won this tournament before in 2009 and 10 back-to-back in Division II, and also in 2007 in Division II, and they are out to a great start. 10 points on the board in the first 2 minutes for champion. Jackson on the left wing. Washington on the right. Pull up from the free throw line is off the mark. A rare cold shooting start for the Falcons. Champion likes to push too. So we expect once the Falcons settle in for this to be a pretty high scoring affair. Tellis drives in the corner. It's Davis from downtown. In and out, skying for the rebound, Tellis. Extra possession for the Tigers. Tellis is double team. The cutter is Burns. Can't get it to go. Ball batted out. James got it. Outlet to Washington. And Kansas gets on the board plus a foul. So the assist for James, Ja'Cory Washington, who last played at Baton Rouge Community College, averaging 10 a game, and a 71% free throw shooter, goes to the line. Try to complete an old school three-point play. Both teams with a team foul in the first 3 minutes. We had 3 games yesterday, 2 men's and 1 women, and the 2 men's games featured a lot of whistles. Reed into the front court. Reed, 3.7 assists per game. Davis gets it back to him. 7 to shoot for Champion here. Davis to the bucket. Finger rolls it too strong off the glass. Ball batted around, and the rebound comes to Jackson. Jackson being hounded, able to get it to Plain. Washington lost it, deflected and taken away by Burns. 3-on-3. There, Darren Reed to shoot, and again he makes him pay. Champion is on fire in the first 3.5 minutes of this ball game. They've got 13 on the board and lead by 10. James to the bucket, couple of pumps, can't get the roll, and the Falcons remain cold. Driving Davis, the bounce pass to Burns, can't get it to go. Rebound by Washington. Falcons trying to get some rhythm going on this end of the floor here in the early going. Jackson has it between the circles. Jackson from downtown, way off. Shot clock was winding down, had the hoist. DeVoyle got the board. Tellis to the cutter, Burns. Burns the reverse, off the mark. Plain the board. Looks like a loose shoelace is going to stop us for a moment. Allow Falcons to sub in a couple of players. Jovens Hyacinth coming in. He wears number 2 and number 5, Elijah Ransom. James into the forecourt. Here's Jackson on the right. Takes it top of the key, now into the lane. Floats it up short. Falcons get DeSur the offensive rebound. His putback is no good. 1 field goal for the Falcons. And they missed some easy looks. Tellis, DeVoyle double teamed. And a foul going to be called on Kansas Christian. Falcons from Overland Park, Kansas, suburb of the Kansas City, Kansas Metro, and Champion from Hot Springs, Arkansas. Beautiful part of that state. Reed, quick inbound, good ball movement. In the corner, that's Tellis long on the 3, but Reed chases down the rebound. Winner of this game on to the semifinals, and the loser goes to the consolation game on Friday at noon. Bump on the rebound. Foul on Champions, Burns. So Falcons will get it back. A.J. Hall coming into the game for Champion. 12.9 points per game for Jesse Bird's team off the bench. Darwin James, bounce pass over to DeSur, guarded by Hall in the man-to-man. Rising is Ransom, and he buries the triple. Second field goal of the game. Elijah Ransom, 35% from downtown, connecting on his first. Champion by 7, 6 minutes in. Hall's going to be fouled by Daniels. Antonio Daniels last year was at an NAIA school, Central Christian, averaged just under 4 points per game, shot 47% from the field before transferring over for his senior year from Birmingham, Alabama. And if that name sounds familiar, longtime NBA player Antonio Daniels. How about Trayvon Reed? He's 3 for 3 from downtown, champion back by 10. Going quickly, answering back is James. We remember Darwin James from last year. Another good season for him, 13 points, 4.5 rebounds, over 4 assists, and 58 steals total on the season. Reed on the left. Five to shoot. Reed gets it into the corner. Back to Reed, has to hoist, and just draws the iron. James, outlet to Ransom. He lays it up and in. Into the forecourt now, Davis. Davis from the left, yes. 18 to 10. Champion. Rising is Ransom, can't get that three. He's 1 for 2 so far. That one went in and out. Tellis left alone. Yes, the penetration by Davis, who picks up the assist. Champion by 11. Timeout, Kansas. We'll step aside. You're watching the 2019 ACCA Men's Basketball Tournament from Joplin, Missouri. Some of the past winners in the ACCA, that is roughly completed. There are some, it took a lot of research to dig those that information up. Darwin James to the bucket out of the timeout, counted in the foul, and Kansas starting to find their rhythm offensively. Defense has been optional for the Falcons, though, here in the early going. This is a Kansas Christian team that has lost only twice in this second semester, to Randall and Dallas. They also lost to they also lost to Arlington in the Southwest region. So technically 3 losses here in the second semester. That loss in the region championship to Arlington was their first loss, as Darwin James lays it up and in. Their first loss since January 26th. Look out. Tellis almost lost it, able to keep the dribble, facing pressure from Daniels. Tellis into the lane, scoops it up, no. Tip for the rebound, James comes up with it. James on the run out. Bounce passes it over to the corner. Ransom driving in, he got caught up and called for steps. Good defense there by the Tigers to force that turnover, but Kansas has answered back cut the deficit from 11 down to 5 pretty quickly. .92 points a game for the Falcons this year. 19 points a game off turnovers. They're very active defensively. 15 steals per game. .19 assists per game, too. And that's the most important stat for John Jansen's team. John Jansen, a heck of a coach that Kansas Christian was able to snag when they started this program. In his second year now, Kansas Christian has had basketball now for 3 years, but John Jansen won a state championship as a high school coach at Overland Christian, so he didn't even have to pack his bags or anything. Went from high school to college in the same town, Overland Park. Darwin James spins and misses short. Rebound controlled by A.J. Hall. Out on the run underneath, it's Burns, and he draws the foul. 4 on Kansas as a team, 3 team fouls for Champion. Vernon Burns, 74% free throw shooter for Champion. We've talked a lot about the offense for the Falcons. Champion set a program record, 128 points in their win against Baptist back on November the 6th. They had 31 assists in that ball game. And they've come out hot here this morning, leading by 7. 22 points on the board, not yet halfway through the half. Daniels long on the jumper from the half circle. On the run out, this is Brooks who's into the game. Darmaine Brooks, number 12. It's swung over to Hall, who buries another triple for Champion, and their lead back to double figures. They lead at 25-15. James to the bucket, yes. Darwin James being aggressive, averaging over 13 a game. Brooks. Here's Tellis on the right. Man, Davis went right to the hoop. No defense for the Falcons there. Champion back up by 10. Ransom on the wing. Corday Bass, number 24, is into the game. James can't get the 3 to go. Missed it short. Burns another rebound. Vernon Burns tied for second in the ACCA and rebounding at 8.3 a game. Davis tried to split the defense. It's taken away by Bass. Scoops it to Jackson, and Jackson lays it up and in. 27-19, nearing 9 minutes to go in this first half. A lot better flow in this game compared to the games last night. Burns to the bucket. Yes, over the outstretched Jackson. Burns got it to go. Champion back up by 10. Daniels from right of the lane, missed it short. Another one and done as Davis pulls down yet another rebound. Brooks goes right around James. Too strong off the glass, though. Daniels collects. And a foul going to be called on Hall. Both teams now with 4. 8:26 left to go here in this first half. DeMarco DeVoyle checks back in for A.J. Hall for Champion and Jesse Bird's team. Champion, you all got to update the website. You got some guy named Tom Schubert listed as the head coach. Give my man Jesse some credit. Jesse's running the show. Get him on the website. Turnover as Hawkins comes in, steals it, and lays it up and in. McCallan Hawkins into the game, averaging over 5 a game off the bench. Makes a quick impact. James between the circles, gets a screen. Drives in over the defender, too strong. Washington the putback, yes. 31-21 as Ja'Cory Washington with another bucket. 10 points, 5 rebounds a game for the junior from Louisiana. A lot of players, Washington and Plain, both started their collegiate careers at Baton Rouge Community College. Timeout on the court. We'll step aside. 7:36 left to go in a quick-moving first half. We'll be back. Champion and Kansas, 10-point lead for the Tigers. And folks are having a little technical difficulty, so I'm going to stop the audio portion of the broadcast just for a moment here. And I just want to make sure everything's running nice and smooth. We'll be back here in just a moment. All right, folks, sorry about the delay there as Champion gets the steal, and it looks like Hawkins is stripped. Foul called on Kansas, though. No correction, no foul, just the strip. So 5-4 the fouls, Champion with 5 and the Falcons with 4. Having a little glitch with YouTube. I checked the broadcast and everything looks fine, folks. We use a hashtag ACCA Sports on Twitter. If you have any problems viewing today's game, just let me know because I'm having problems being able to keep track. A long shot, no good by Hawkins. And Kansas on the run out. This is DeSer. Good ball movement, finding the open Jackson who buries the 3, and Kansas looking to cut into this deficit. Still plenty of time here in this first half. 5:45 left to go. Here's Hawkins. And the bounce pass, they were looking for Burns, and they say last touch by the Falcons. So if you're watching at any point this week and you want to chat with us during the broadcast, or if there's a problem with the broadcast, let me know on that hashtag. I do check it just about every dead ball. Ball deflected, good defense. DeSer comes up with the steal. Plain to DeSer for 3, too strong. Here comes Hawkins. Burst of energy off the bench for Jesse Bird's team, and he'll go to the line. 4-2. At the line, Hawkins just 39%, believe it or not, but he got that first one. Make it 2 out of 2. So to lead back to 10. Champions maintained a 10-11 point lead for most of the game. Came out strong, led it 13-3 in the early going. Champions Brooks with the turnover. Tellis and Brooks playing hot potato, navigating the Kansas zone, 3-2 zone. Here's DeVoyle. He's doubled up. 11 to shoot. Good ball movement, finding the open Hawkins, and he buries a triple. Champion with his biggest lead of the day. 39-26. Plain threw it away. It's a steal by DeVoyle. Tellis. Hawkins had it stripped by Plain. DeSur gets it to Jackson. Jackson to the bucket. Got the roll. Nice play by Jackson to get that over the outstretched DeVoyle. Inside 4 to go here in this first half. Chris Sheeman, glad to be with you in Joplin, Missouri. Icy Joplin, Missouri. Burns falling away, able to get that bucket to go. 41-28 champion. Jackson on the left. Jackson the pull-up with the hand in his face. Can't get it to go, and Hawkins with the rebound. Brooks on the left. Brooks dared to shoot. Almost got it to go. Washington the rebound. Kansas has the 3 seed. If they want to knock off Carolina or ULA or some of the other teams, they're going to have to clamp down defensively a little bit better than what they've shown here today against Champion. Still a long way to go in this one. Tigers looking good as the half starts to wind down. DeSur can't get the 3. There's Brooks on the right. Brooks to the bucket. Out to Hawkins. Back to Brooks. Brooks for 3. Yes! Darmaine Brooks, 31% three-point shooter. Over 100 points now for him this season off the bench. And Champion pouring it on by 16 points. Here's Washington. Jackson on the left from downtown. Big bucket. Kansas has to keep scoring. And it looks like Kansas is going to call timeout. Timeout on the court. We'll step aside. 2:10 left to go in the ball game. Champion in control here in the early going. Champion with the basketball, the 6 seed, champion Tigers leading Kansas Falcons, the 3 seed, by a 44-31 margin. Inside 2 to go here in this first half, and Kansas turning it over there as Murray tried to save it, but Champion was out of bounds as well, so the Falcons will get it back here. Stephone Jackson from Dallas, 16 points a game. Daniels back out there. James DeSur And Murray, that's the 5 on the floor for the Falcons as James, finds Murray, who cut to the bucket for the easy 2. For Champion, Reed's back out there. Hit a couple of three-pointers earlier. So it's Reed, Burns, Hall, Tellis, and Davis. That's the 5 for Champion. Bucket no good. Davis the rebound. Nearing 1 minute to go. Hall on the right, fakes the 3 to the bucket, no. Offensive rebound, Burns, no. And controlling the board, Desir. James drives around 2 defenders and scores. Nice move by Darwin James. Champion wants to talk about it. They want to maintain, and it's a smart timeout here for Jesse Bird. They want to maintain this double-digit lead. If you're Kansas at this point, you've been down by as many as 16. You go into the locker room with a single-digit deficit, and you're feeling pretty good about yourself. So, timeout, Champion. We'll be back. Champion by 9 with the basketball, and about a 10-second difference between the game and shot clock as we wind down the first half. Chris Shima, glad to be with you. Halftime, we'll take a 15-minute break. Hall over to Reed. This is Burns, 8 to shoot. Back to Hall. Hall to the bucket over 2 defenders. Draws the foul. So A.J. Hall will go to the line, 76% free throw shooter off the bench. 12.9 points per game for Champion. 3 players, A.J. Hall, Tellis at 15 a game, and Burns leading the team at 16 a game. Average in double figures for a Champion. Back up by 10. Champions led by as many as 16 here today. Kansas has never led. (46-35). DeVoyle comes back in for Hall. Defense substitution late in this first half for Jesse Bird's team. James into the forecourt. Falcons can hold for the final shot. James lost the dribble. Getting there was Murray. Murray to the bucket, too strong. Battle for the rebound, and it goes off DeVoyle out of bounds. 1.2 to work with for the Falcons here as Desir will inbound it. Ball deflected. James got a hoist. He's stripped, and the first half comes to an end. Champion Christian, the Tigers from Hot Springs, Arkansas, come out like gangbusters and lead by 11, 46-35. You're watching day 2 of the 2019 ACCA Men's Basketball Tournament. We'll be back in 15 minutes. Welcome back to Joplin, everybody. The 2019 ACCA men's basketball quarterfinals. 3-6 matchup. Kansas Christian has their work cut out for them as the 3 seed trailing number 6 Champion. 46-35 as the second half is underway, and Kansas, Josh Plain buries a triple to start the scoring party here in the second period. Josh Plain's first bucket of the game. Kansas Christian and Champion are tied in most statistical categories after 20 minutes of play, both teams shooting 46%. Difference is at the three-point line, where Champion hit 9 of 16 and Kansas just 3 out of 9. But now an opportunity for a quick 6-0 run here. Correction, it's a 2-shot foul here for James. Leading scorers in the first half, Darwin James with 11, Stephone Jackson with 10 for Kansas. And for Champion, Terrence Davis has 10 points, 9 apiece for Reed and Burns, and 7 for Hawkins. So that's your leading scorers. Kansas Christian 22-6 points in the paint in that first half. Champion's bench outscored Kansas 15-9. Champion has led wire to wire here in this one, but Kansas has all the firepower offensively to get right back in it, and they've already shaved 4 points off the deficit here in the first minute of the half. DeVoyle gets it to Burns. Burns to the bucket. No. Follows his shot. Had it stripped. Players diving for it. Jump ball called, and the possession arrow will keep it with Champion. Chris Shema, glad to be back with you at Ozark here in Joplin, Missouri. Icy start to the day. It was icy last night and today. They're calling for ice on Saturday with anywhere between 1 and 6 inches of snow, depending on who you ask. Which is not good news because that's the travel day for a lot of these teams after the tournament is over. Fingers crossed it won't be that bad. Davis for 3, can't get it to go. Rebound controlled by Daniels. Here come the Falcons. James looking to push, had it poked away from behind. So it'll stay with the Falcons. Darwin James, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals already here today. What a stat line for the point guard for Kansas. Daniels is stripped but fouled. Second foul on Champion here in the first 90 seconds of the second half. Kansas fans, our next game up is the women's team taking on Arlington in the women's tournament. We'll have that one for you at noon today. James to inbound it. Daniels on the baseline. Looking to back down DeVoyle. Swings it out to Plain for 3, but they called 3 seconds on Kansas, I believe. So Champion will get the basketball back on the turnover. Champion yet to strike here in this half. Tigers have some offensive firepower of their own. Reed's been hot today. DeVoyle from Davis. DeVoyle backing down, and with 8 on the shot clock, he'll go to the line. DeMarco DeVoyle, 4.8 points per game, 4.7 rebounds. Just a 48% free throw shooter, however. So DeVoyle good on the first one, first point of the half for Champion. DeVoyle gets them both. Champion leads by 9. First of 3 quarterfinal games here in the men's bracket. We also have a consolation game coming up this afternoon. Turnaround shot by Washington is good. Kansas making things interesting here, down by 7. They've trailed by as many as 16 in the game. If you're just joining us, Champion got out to a 13-3 lead early in the first couple of minutes of the game. Forced that pass, though. Davis turns it over. Steal by Jackson. Jackson out to Plain. Plain buries the triple. Here come the Falcons. Timeout by Champion. The Falcons have cut it to 4. 3 minutes into the second half. We'll take a timeout. Come back here in just a moment. There's the hashtag if you want to chat with us during today's broadcast and all tournament long. Use hashtag ACCA Sports on Twitter. Back to live action. Champion sees their lead cut down to 4. They have the basketball. Krishima, glad to be back with you here in Joplin, Missouri. 37th, I believe, annual ACCA tournament. Men's quarterfinal. Plain has it taken away. It's a steal by James, who gets it back and draws the foul. Champion bench comes alive as the momentum with the Falcons here to start this second half. Darwin James, 57% free throw shooter. 1 for 1 today. Make it 1 for 2. A lot of subs in for Champion. A.J. Hall, number 0. Brooks, number 12. Number 30 is Hawkins. And number 11 is Tellis. So James misses them both. Number 22, Burns, is the lone starter that remains for Jesse Bird's team. Hawkins between the circles. Brooks, Tellis on the right. Brooks with 9. Shot clock at 5. Brooks with the pull-up, no. Rebound controlled by Daniels, and the Tigers are cold to start this second half. Just 2 points after putting up 46 in the first half. Washington drives in. Daniels driving as well. Floats it up, puts it in. And the lead is down to 2. Kansas is not led in the game. The game was tied at 0-0 for 6 seconds in the very early going. Champion needs a bucket here. Bench provided a spark off in the first half, and Hall draws the foul on Kansas. It's their second. Champion has 3. Some subs for John Jansen's Falcons. Set the 5 on the floor for us. Stephone Jackson remains out there. Joshua Plain, number 23. Number 5 is Elijah Ransom. 3 ball by Hall for Champion, no good. 12 is Wilkins DeSur. Driving, going quickly. Jackson draws the foul. And he'll go to the line on team foul number 4 on Champion. B.J. Murray, number 22, is the other player for the Falcons, and that's the 5 on the floor right now for Champion. Stephon Jackson, 69% free throw shooter. Good on that first one. Kansas can tie it with this free throw for the first time since it was 0-0 in the first 6 seconds of the game. And they do tie it. So the Falcons have come from 16 back to tie it up, and now a ticky-tack foul called on Jackson there, reaching on Brooks. You'll live with that if you're John Jansen, though. Team that averages 15 steals a game is going to get a couple of those called on them. Corday Bass coming into the game, the sophomore from Kansas City, Kansas, replacing Plain. Brooks to the bucket, scoops it up, no. Offensive rebound by Burns, and then foul on the floor on the Falcons. That's their 4th. So it'll be Brooks to inbound it. Hawkins played big off the bench. Hawkins, 7 points, 3 rebounds, 3 steals in the first half. Underneath to Burns, and Burns is called for steps. Turnover gives the ball back to Kansas, looking for its first lead of the ball game. Murray for 3, too strong. DeSer chases it down. Here's Jackson. Ransom from way downtown, in and out. Hall collects the board for Champion. Brooks looks to push. Throw for Tellis, open in the corner. Defense comes to help. A.J. Hall had it poked away. And it's going to be out of bounds. Last touch by the Falcons. Darwin James coming back into the game for the Falcons. And Brooks will inbound it for Champion with 15 on the shot clock. Possession error, or the possession did not change. Shot clock did not reset. Down to 7. Strong move to the bucket. Brooks can't get it to go. Offensive rebound by Burns. He's fouled on the floor. It's team foul number 5 on Kansas. So as the game's gotten close, the fouls have started to rack up a little more here in this second half, and now Brooks to inbound it. Burns. Murray bit on the fake, and Burns able to get to the bucket. Just the second field goal of the half for Champion, but it gives them the lead back at 50-48. James to the bucket. Yes, we are tied again. Champion was going to inbound it. Another whistle. Falcons another loose shoelace. These two teams meeting for the second consecutive year here in the quarterfinals. Kansas defeated Champion last year. Good penetration and dish by Brooks, and Tellis buries the 3. Champion back on top, 53-50. Darwin James spinning over 2 defenders, forced that shot, and it goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Falcons. Tigers basketball, leading by 3. We've been tied a couple of times here in this second half. Kansas has come back from 16 down to tie it on 2 occasions. What a move. Beautiful by Brooks. And again, Jesse Bird's bench providing a spark here. Foul called on Champion. It's going to be on Hawkins. 5 now on the Tigers. Both teams with 5, in fact. More shuffling for Kansas. Daniels, number 1, is back out there. Washington, number 11, returns. Plain, number 23, DeSer, number 12, and number 10 is Darwin James. That's the 5 for the Falcons right now. Daniels had it poked away. Dove to keep possession alive. Here's Plain getting out. James for 3, too strong, and the rebound controlled by Burns. Hawkins takes it right side. Now it's Brooks. I'm laughing because of what Hawkins just said to his teammate. I won't repeat it, but it's pretty funny. All to the bucket. And offensive foul is called. So a turnover will give the ball back to Kansas. That's team foul number 6 on Champion. So we're going to see some free throws down the stretch for both teams as the foul's starting to rack up. And Kansas will be in the 1-and-1 on the next defensive set foul. A.J. Hall comes out of the game. Davis back out there, so it's Davis and Burns with Brooks. I still laughing about that. Hawkins and Tellis, that's the 5. Playing for 3, can't get it to go. So ball goes out of bounds back to the Tigers. Champion 10-11. Kansas is 20-6 on the year. Kansas just 14 steals per game for the Falcons. Taking care of the basketball this season. One of the reasons why they've been able to get to 20 wins this year. On the run out, Plain got the rebound, quick outlet. Washington counted in the foul. That's the 7th on Champion, 5 on Kansas. Chance for an old school 3-point play for the Falcons now. Ja'Cory Washington, 71% free throw shooter. Made his lone free throw today in the first half. Completes the 3-point play, and Champion's lead is 2. Into the forecourt, Burns. Nice cut by Tellis to the bucket. Got it to go. Jackson top of the key. James on the right. And they call a carry on James. Turnover will give the ball back to Champion. Brooks into the forecourt. Bounce past the Tellis. Tellis stripped. Good defense by James. James throws it ahead, forced the pass though, and Burns poked it away. Now a reach on Kansas. That's team foul number 6 on them. James will come out of the game. Ransom comes back in for Kansas. They were saying 1-and-1, but that's just the 6th team foul, so it'll be an inbound here for Burns and the Tigers. Correction, Davis and the Tigers. Brooks guarded by Jackson. Takes it right. Brooks turns on the Jets, goes around Jackson, gets the friendly bounce. Champion back up by 6. Sprinting into the forecourt, Washington. Bass cut off. Tip pass goes out to Ransom. Ransom to the bucket. Can't get it to go, but he's fouled. So Elijah Ransom, 68% free throw shooter, goes to the line. Team foul number 8 on Champion. Ransom, a sophomore from Fairfield, Texas, averages 7 a game. Off the bench, 43% shooter, and as I mentioned, 68% from the charity stripe. Can't get the first one to go. B.J. Murray back out there for John Jansen's team. Josh Plain will sit down. Nearing the midway point of this second half. Kansas Christian has tied it a couple of times, but Champion has led for most of the game. Quick pass underneath. Davis to Burns for 2. Champion by 7 now. Here's Ransom. Ransom, offensive foul is called. Oh. Was he in the restricted area, though? Burns took the charge. I don't see a lot of complaints, so Kansas will live with that one. Antonio Daniels checks in for Corday Bass. Some trapping pressure shown here for the Falcons. No trouble for Brooks. Bounce pass goes underneath, and Burns lost it. Good defense by Daniels on the steal. In the corner, it's Jackson driving in, throws it up, short, tip for the rebound. Champion's got it. This is Tellis into the forecourt. Swings it to Hawkins. Good ball movement, finding Davis, who buries a 3. And just like that, Champion is up double figures again. 64-54. Washington on the far side of your screen. Now Daniels top of the key. Underneath, they're going to get Washington with an offensive foul. Team foul number 8, not a 1-on-1 situation though. And Kansas wants to talk it over. Timeout on the court. We'll step aside. Come back here in just a moment. Champion Tigers by 10. The 6 seed from Hot Springs, Arkansas, leading the 3 seed Kansas Christian from Overland Park, Kansas. Good ball movement out of the timeout. Play set up for Burns, who got the finger roll. Lead is out to 12 for the Tigers. Trying to answer back Murray, no, but he's fouled. So Murray will go to the line for 2. Chris Sheeman back here with you. BJ Murray, 62% free throw shooter. That was the 9th team foul on Champion, so Kansas is going to be in the double bonus over the final 9 minutes of this one. James back in for Ransom for the Falcons. 1 out of 2. BJ Murray sits down. Joshua Plain returns. And some light man pressure. No problem for Davis to get it across midcourt. Here's Tellis. Swings it out to Hawkins. Hawkins, great minutes off the bench here in the first and second half. Burns misses the bunny though. Throw ahead goes to Washington. Underneath, can't get it to go. Hawkins pushes in transition. Falcons getting back on defense. Hawkins gets it to Tellis. Swung over to Burns. And now Brooks will set up the offense with 16 on the shot clock. Brooks forces a 3 with the shot clock at 10. Couldn't get it to go. Out on the run, Jackson. Over 2 defenders. Plain was out of control. On the run out, it's Brooks. Nice pass to Hawkins. He lays it up and in. And inside 8 to go. Champion by 13 now. James driving, can't get the bucket, but he is fouled and will go to the line for 2. Darwin James, the junior. Oh, free throws not falling for the Falcons. It's really hurting them right now. Both teams in the bonus. Kansas is in the double bonus. Missed them both. Offensive rebound by Jackson, though. And a big bucket for Kansas. They need to get stops on this end now. Have to pick it up defensively. Credit the bench for a champion today. Especially Brooks and Hawkins. Hawkins underneath. What a pass to Davis, who lays it up and in. Good team basketball today for Champion. The Tigers on a roll. James into the forecourt. Plain looking underneath. Ball deflected. Nice deflection by Davis. Here comes Hawkins. Nice extra pass. Laying it up is Burns. And Champion by 15. Their biggest lead here in the second half. They led by as many as 16 in the first half. Jackson way off. Brooks pushes into the forecourt. Corner 3, Tellis, an air ball. In transition, here comes Washington. Got it out, catch and shoot 3 is short by Plain. And now nobody's home for Tellis, and he'll lay it up and in, and Champion has their biggest lead of the day. Timeout. Kansas, all Tigers right now, 74-57. We'll be back. Champion, the early birds, getting the worm right now, 74-57. The Tigers, we were talking about it up here, and the Tigers just look like they have fresher legs today. Kansas made that run to start this second half, but Tigers with all the momentum. Jackson for three, can't get it to go, and that's going to be a foul called on Champion, I believe. No, wait a minute. It's on Kansas. So DeSer picks up the foul, his second. 9th on Kansas Christian. So still a 1-and-1 here. Champion, it'll be Burns to take the free throws. These two teams meeting for the second straight year in the quarterfinals. Kansas won relatively easy last year. Champion getting some revenge right now, though. Still time to go, of course. And Ransom hits another three. I believe that's his third today. 14-point lead, inside 6 to go. For Ransom, that is his second three-pointer. Brooks on the right side. In the corner, it's Tellis for three. Missed it short. Rebound by DeSer. Kansas team can put points up quickly. We saw it at the start of the half, and Bass is going to go to the line. 5:31 left to go. This Kansas is certainly up against it, but they've got time. Bass, 71% free throw shooter, and part of the problem right now for Kansas is they're not making the free throws. Just 1 out of 2 on that trip. Falcons and Tigers, game 1 of 6 here today. We're going to go to the women's side of things at noon for Arlington and Kansas Christian. Men's consolation between AFLBS and Rhema at 2. At 4, it's the 1 against the 8 on the men's side. ULA taking on Barclay. Put back by DeSer on the missed 3 is good, and Champion wants to stop this right now. The lead is down to 11 with 5 minutes left to go. Don't go away. This one not over yet. Chris Shima, glad to be back with you here in Joplin. 2019 ACCA Men's Basketball Tournament. Day number 2. Nice move to the bucket. Hawkins unimpeded. Big bucket for Champion, and now Kansas is going to turn it over here. Tigers looking for win number 11 on the year. Brooks is double teamed. Up top, it's Burns. Back to Brooks. Tigers looking to maybe slow things down here a little bit, run some clock. Shot clock is at 8 right now. Davis, the fadeaway, airballed. Put back by Burns is no good. Here come the Falcons now. DeSer throws it ahead to Ransom. Ransom forces a three and hits it. Was there a foul called too? A technical foul called on Kansas's bench. The official's going over to explain. It looks like it's on one of the assistants. Tellis is going to shoot the two technical free throws on the other end of the floor. And that's a big call. Kansas had just cut it to 10. So 1 out of 2. And it will be champion basketball as well. So it was called on the bench. Again, some light pressure for the Falcons. No trouble, though, for champion. Davis into the forecourt. Underneath, it's Burns. Yes. The winner of this game goes to the semifinals. They will play Carolina tomorrow at 6 p.m. The loser goes to the consolation game, game number 7, which will be Friday at noon. That three comes up short by DeSer. And the ball out of bounds to champion. Tigers are 3:32 away from that semifinal game with Carolina. Brooks turns on the Jets. Can't get the scoop shot to go. Murray the rebound. Here's DeSer to the bucket. Too strong. Tipped up no by Murray. And then a foul underneath called on Kansas. And things are starting to look bleak for the Falcons. So at the line now, Vernon Burns. Missed the first one. Both teams are in the double bonus over the final 3:10. Darwin James checking back in for the Falcons. So the best that Kansas can do is finish 7th if they're unable to come back. Darwin James to the bucket. Can't get the roll, but he's fouled. So more free throws to come. James is short, and the free throw struggles, really for both teams, continue. So champion came out a little bit flat to start off this second half. Kansas came back from 16 down in the first half to tie it early here in this second half. Jesse Bird went to his bench, more specifically to Brooks, number 12, and to Hawkins, number 30. And they have really settled the ship here today. This foul's going to be called on champion, so more free throws to come. Technical foul now called on champion. So at the line, it's Ransom. Chance to cut it down to 10. 10-point deficit inside 3 minutes as not impossible. And it is at 10. Number 20 is Mindaugas Veta from Lithuania coming into the game, and he'll inbound it. Ransom. Falcons got to go quickly, not done yet, and another whistle. The fouls have started to pick up, as I mentioned, here in this second half. Both teams into double bonus. James and Kansas will look back at their free throw numbers and say that might be the biggest difference here today. Corey Washington set to come in. Neither free throw is good for James. Here comes Champion now. Brooks. Tigers content to run some clock here. Catch and shoot for Davis. 3-ball off the back iron. Tip for the rebound, and that's going off the Tigers out of bounds. Antonio Daniels coming back in. Correction, that's Ja'Cory Washington back in for the Falcons. Ransom into the forecourt. Ransom for 3. Tellis pulls down the rebound on the miss. Tellis gets it out. And again, Champion will run some clock here. Still 10 to shoot for the Tigers here. Brooks, the bounce pass to Davis. Counted and the foul. And Champions Davis will go to the line with a chance to put a little extra whipped cream on the sundae and what will be a Tigers victory here in this quarterfinal. Champion avenging last year's loss to Kansas, and they're going to meet Carolina in the semifinals tomorrow evening. 3-point play complete. Tigers by 13. Jackson attacking. Counted in the foul. And if you're Champion at this point, just get out of the way. Just get out of the way. You know how close it's being called, so why bother? Why give them the extra opportunity? Granted, the Falcons have not hit their free throws here today, but why tempt fate? Champion's going to win its 11th game in a row, barring a miracle comeback here for Kansas. See if Kansas starts to foul, try to extend the game here down by 10. So far, they're not doing that. Underneath, wide open to the lane. Burns lays it up and in. Nearing 1 minute left to go. Champion gets it on the miss. On the run out. Here's Hawkins, can't get it to go. Got his own offensive rebound, though, and the Tigers can take it inside a minute now and really run some time off. Kansas trying to chase, and the Tigers playing keep away. I believe, don't quote me, as Washington on the turnover gets the run out and the easy layup. This might be the first time all season that Kansas has lost back-to-back games. They're coming off that region final loss to Arlington. Scoop shot no good. Shot clock is off. And Champion will run it out. How about this effort for the Tigers today? In the first half, they got it done from behind the arc in the second half. They took it to Kansas, and they will win by 10. 84-74. Champion is on to the semifinals. They'll take on Carolina Christian Friday at 6 p.m. Central Time. All times, of course, are approximate. Meanwhile, for Kansas, they go to the consolation game. It'll be Game 7 on the bracket Friday at noon. And they will play the winner of our consolation game today between Rhema and AFLBS. That's going to do it for us here, folks. We got to go. Kansas fans, come on back at 12 o'clock. We got the Lady Falcons taking on Arlington Baptist. That's coming up again at 12 o'clock. You've been watching the 2019 ACCA Men's Basketball Tournament from Joplin. We'll talk to you again in